Welcome to Momentum Monday. Today is May 23rd, 2021. And Howard, how was your weekend?
It's good. I am, this may be the latest we've recorded a Momentum Monday.
Yes. If I fall asleep in 5 minutes, it's your fault.
Blink twice if you're being held against your will in a new location. Look at that, everybody. This is the first time you've laughed in 4 years of doing these.
Yeah, right.
Why are you laughing about a really sick joke? I have so many good jokes. Why are you laughing at that one? All right.
I don't remember them.
You know what the big joke is? Crypto. Huh? Well, you're something. What's that?
It happens. Anything that can go up a few thousand percentage points in a few months can easily go down 50 to 80%. I think that's normal. It can happen to any asset class. So
yes, it was quite a weekend to watch. I don't know. Let's pull up a chart to start. Let's just. It's hard, It's hard to. The parabolic moves were just incredible, and oh my goodness, look at these things. Still in uptrends, most of them.
let's
I
go.
think you can see which ones were like really fake. Like,
I'm not going to show like the smaller coins. I'm just showing the major ones: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin.
yeah, that is a bloodbath. I think you can see that who the posers are. I think if this is going to hold, it's still Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then where's the XR? Scroll down a little bit. I mean, what a bloodbath! I don't really follow too many of these, but you can see the ones that didn't take out the all-time highs on this rally are probably doomed. The ones that kind of took out the all-time highs, which is basically Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then a lot of new tokens. That is the future, but I think the posers like Litecoin and Zcash might be done after this one. Anyways, I think, like you said, Ivan, if you can, anything parabolic like that just never ends well. Except unless it's GameStop. If we go back to the real market, I look at the small cap. I mean, that one continues. I think all of the retailers, I think what stood out to me this week, I mean, that the levitation in this is incredible. But I think if you look at like the Gap, okay, we just pull up the retail index. But I was looking at the Gap. I think that was $5 in March. It's $5, six-packer in the Gap.
Yeah, all the retailers. Every single one of them, even Macy's and Kohl's and business.
Yeah, but those are like, I mean, Gap is like back at all-time highs. Let me just, I can't fathom this. What did I? God bless them. I don't know. Go to a monthly. I mean, that is unbelievable because now they've, that is unbelievable.
Yeah, but you have to take into account that, the US dollar is worth like what, 20, 30% less than it was here. So,
But what does that mean?
well, that means that anything that is priced in US dollar is normal to, go up in value over time, right? If the dollar is worth less.
But what an unbelievable, from all-time lows, almost back to all-time highs. And I haven't seen somebody wear anything from the Gap. Well, I guess people wear the Gap, but I guess the death of retail is good for some of these brands in the end. I think Nordstrom also. I forget the ticker symbol. There you go. Sad that you know the ticker symbol.
I know it because I've traded it. It's been a good stock.
Wow. So there you have it. I mean, GameStop, Gap, and Nordstrom. 3 stores that I haven't been in infinity. Wow. Yeah. Look at that. That's really fascinating. I mean, GameStop's looking like it's going to go much higher.
It's possible. We still have a pretty decent amount of short interest, and we're starting to see the most shortest stock working up again.
Yeah, AMC, same thing. And the
and
filthiest movie chain of all time.
recovery stock. Yeah.
If you want to get gum on your shoes, if you really want to just spend an evening and 80% chance end up with gum on your shoes or in your hair, you go to AMC. If you wake up one day and say, you know what, honey, I want to get some gum in my hair, the first thing she would say is, maybe we should go to a movie theater. All right, so what are you noticing this week besides retail?
Let's talk real quick about last week.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, in a choppy range for the indices. There was a brief pullback. Deep buyers step in near the 50-day again for the S&P, and it just remains in that choppy range. But under the surface, there was another set of sector rotations, another set of mean reversions, because I noticed that all of the sectors, the strongest sectors for 2021, back, like all the inflation plays, anything related to metals like steel, they had a pullback, right? Even oil had a slight pullback. I mean, nothing major, just it's rising 20-day. Retail, financials, so anything that is still leading, has been leading in 2021, had a pullback, and in the meantime, tech started to outperform last week, which is very interesting. Tech had a much bigger bounce from that gap down here compared to the other sectors. Like obviously, bigger picture perspective is not looking as good as the S&P, but it had a bigger bounce. And as already mentioned, the best performing stocks were some of the most shortest stocks were the best performers last week, which very weirdly coincides with that route that we saw in the crypto space. So I'm starting to wonder if maybe some of that hot money in the crypto space is starting to come back.
For sure. The money's going somewhere, whatever didn't disappear. Yeah, I mean, it's such a, I mean, there's a couple trillion over there. I don't know how fast. I mean, it's interesting how, yeah, you're right. Like the QQQs kind of seem cheap compared to what was going on in the crypto space. I mean, Google seems to be the strongest of the.
Yes, both of them are holding very well.
Google and Facebook. So it's kind of like hot potato here between the FANG stocks. Applied Material, I think, was very strong. I mean, I even saw Wells Fargo on the list. I couldn't even believe what I'm seeing. I mean, it's just like, honestly, the market makes so, look at that. It's a double off the bottom in October. I didn't know it got down as low as 20. Give me a monthly on Wells Fargo. So, I mean, no one cares. Jesus, no one cares. It's a criminal organization. And basically bailing out Warren Buffett. Goldman's at all-time highs, holding up. Yeah, so the money's just, right now the money just is still just in rotation mode. Just so much liquidity. I was writing on my blog today that the prices, it just, and again, I think it's just going to come into the startup space. Is just, there's just so much hot money, and it's just looking for risk, and you can't scare it. Like, I mean, I look at GameStop and go, you can't scare any of these kids. It's just like a game. And I was reading somewhere the average price owned of is like 36K on Bitcoin. So it's like most of the people are underwater that own Bitcoin in terms of like new entrants. Yeah. So it's just like the money's just moving around hot potato, but the market wow, MicroStrategy have pulled back 1,300 back to 500. So it's just at its 200-day moving average.
Yeah.
So anyway, these don't interest me, right? Derivative plays. I think, yeah, Tesla's sitting there below its 200-day still, huh?
Yeah, they also had a small investment in Bitcoin. I mean, and as small as it is, at this point, they lost more money than they made last quarter. Just in that.
Oh, really? On Bitcoin, I thought he ended up like top ticking that.
Well, they still own it. So.
Oh, they still own it?
Yeah.
Huh.
Underwater, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not a big deal, but obviously it will impact their EPS if they sell, if they ever sell.
Yeah, I mean, tried and true. I think when people come back to this, e-commerce seems to be in the cloud, still seems to be kind of the safe havens when people get nervous. So Amazon, Shopify holding in there.
Yes. Also, Nvidia announcing 4-to-1 split, holding very well.
Yep.
Definitely, last week we saw a few growth stock in the tech space attempting to break out, which is something different to what we got used to in the past few months, like Roblox, UiPath.
Yep.
Obviously, still very high valuation, but at least they're trying to break out and
Yep.
holding it for the most part.
Yeah. So we see it, like I said, this market is pretty resilient, right? Like there was a chance that the gap theoretically could go away, but the management kind of got, I think COVID helped some of these people just take the write-offs and force them to figure a few things out around e-commerce. And I was at the malls in Phoenix. I mean, it was the first time I've been to the mall in forever. It was pretty damn busy. I mean, the question is, are people buying things? Because they've definitely been buying things through COVID, but people want to be out. So how are the restaurant stocks doing?
Let's take a look. I just stuck in a range.
Well, they had a good run, I guess, assuming that things would open.
Obviously, yeah. I mean, the market always thinks act 6 months ahead of time. They're just consolidating sideways in a big range. Most of them.
Yeah, I don't have any big ideas. I think what sectors do look prime to kind of go higher here? I guess you kind of pulled it. Energy and a pullback.
Starting last week, definitely saw some rotation back into tech. So I'm curious to see if that will hold and we'll see some follow through. Nvidia reports earnings this week, and it's definitely one of the constructively looking tech stocks. Shopify very strong last week. So very surprised to see that all of a sudden we saw some inflows into tech, and starting last week, tech is trying to emerge again as a leader. Obviously, I think this week there is a new inflation report, so it might scare people up for a little bit. So that will be a big test. If don't sell off on that report, that means that probably the market is already looking beyond the short-term inflation numbers and thinking that there'll be tech companies that will thrive even in a 5% inflation environment. And no matter the
but valuations will come down. What did rates do last week? I think they kind of started to reverse a little bit, or at least.
I mean, the whole rate market is just so much influenced by government action, and the government is buying 40 billion worth of mortgage backed securities every single month, and then the housing market is basically all-time high. It's just we're seeing a lot of irrational.
I think so. There's a lot of stuff I don't understand. One thing we've seen though with crypto and with everything that's gone parabolic is that the weight of these moves eventually, the straighter up they go, the faster they can fall down. Housing market looks like just digesting some big gains.
Yeah. I mean, remember, people were talking about, oh, it's never been better for home builders. But there is another side of the equation called costs, because the price of lumber, the price of labor, the price of everything that they used to build houses has gone up through the roof. And they might not be able to continuously transfer those cost increases to their customers, because the customers, they don't have unlimited pockets.
Well, home builders are not stocks I want to own it back at all-time highs. The people that got into these in March, April really deserve their win, because this, housing stocks, they're pulling forward. They've had a great run, but those are pull forward buys. The people that buy homes are just going to go buy their next home. So they've had a great cycle of wins. they're not growth stocks per se like tech stocks, because like you said, the input costs are definitely skyrocketing from copper to, so the people that are rushing in to buy a home because they're worried that prices are going to continue to go higher, just like in the market, they're generally going to be chasing prices. And those home builders that are selling all those homes right now, those are being pulled forward 3 or 4 years. So, but that's all good for rates, like because that'll probably ease pressure on rising rates too. So in the end, that may make sense of why growth stocks are coming back. The people looking forward saying, listen, they're not cheap, but at least they're true growth because of the fact that they have lower input costs, just people and subscription software. All right. Well, I mean, we'll know a lot more next week. The price action has not been fantastic, so hasn't been a lot of new entries. I'm trying to think what else. Chinese stocks still look like hell.
Most of them, yes. Let's take a quick look at Alibaba. Yeah, it's not looking amazing. JD.
Yeah, a lot of the fintech stocks have pulled back, like Square and PayPal, so they've slowed down. So they're all just digesting these massive gains.
I think that went up, on Bitcoin and crypto is now struggling a little bit, but it could just spend a long time in a big range.
Yeah, the 100 to 200 range, and it'd be fine. PayPal, digesting, just massive gains. So, I think there's probably some good trading opportunities, but in terms of growth stocks, I don't see incredible setups.
Money. I mean, there's still good opportunities every single day if you're nimble enough, but it's definitely not a easy dollar market.
Yeah, I'm finding it, the less I do, the better right now. So I'm not going to over push it. Have a great week, my man.
You too, Howard.
Hopefully you escape and get out of this new location that you're in.
Back in San Diego tomorrow.
Be back in your cave tomorrow. All right, safe travels.
All right. Bye.